and death is as painful as the birth of a child. So we shouldn't fear about the death, as it is a natural process to go to another world according to a religious point of view.
Okay. But on the other side, we know that religion does not actually ask you to have some frightened and fears from the death. But there are some other obligations related to this. Like if person has to die, this is the one reality that we accept from the religion. And on the other side, religion knows about that beyond the things that human can imagine. For example, the reckoning of the human soul. After you die, religion believes on the afterlife. But we, most of the time, we are shaken with this belief. Sometimes we say that no, we do not believe on afterlife. Like we do not believe on heaven, we do not believe on hell. But religion is again asks us to believe on the afterlife because there will be an afterlife. And in that afterlife, if you are preparing your souls while living on this earth, then definitely according to your wrongdoings and right doings, you will be given a reward or the other words that can be done. And on the other side, that we also have done different perceptions because our life is strongly associated with the death and after the concept of death, especially the concept of afterlife. Like if like as we have been discussing in our previous, or I think uh, in fifth semester, we were discussing about the life and the death matters, especially in Dr. Faustin. And we were discussing that how a person can react if that person knows that there is no heaven, no hell at all after this life. So at that time, your I would say that your perspective of or your perspective to enjoy the life will be totally different from the perspective in which you know that there will be hell and heaven. So we cannot say that okay, if we are out of these conceptions that there cannot be any hell, there cannot be heaven. So our focus will be purely and entirely to live our life at fullest with full enjoyment and delight. But on the other side, religion asks you to have a strong belief, have a strong belief on the death and after this life and after the death also. If you do so, what will happen? Then you will be not enjoying your life more independently, rather you will enjoy it with a control sense. So that control sense is actually needed. It doesn't mean that okay, if you have to die, so you can enjoy like Dr. Foster's. The wages of sin is death. Remember that. So this is not the case. Because you know that the reward of sin is death. We all know it is not the case with the sinners only. If the person who doesn't do anything wrong, that person has also died. Even though you know the prophets, the religious people, the one who does not believe on death itself, that person has also died. So it doesn't mean that we can say that okay, after this life there will not be any other. It means that we are rejecting the narrative of the religion because all the religions they have the strong narrative about this. That depends upon definitely on the beliefs of the people whether they accept this or not by the religion. But death is the ultimate reality. If death is the ultimate reality, then after the death, what will happen? It depends on the people. But it associated with the life. If there is no hell, there is no heaven. It means that the people they will enjoy their life at full delight. But on the other side, if they know that there will be the reckoning after this death, there will be reckoning, there will be your evaluation, then they will not do the same. Because What now come toward the first perspective. If you know that there is no reckoning after your death, what you will do? Definitely, you will do such things in your life that will be hurting and torturing the people. Most of us, you can do that. You can, I would say, to get any status, to get your desires fulfilled, what you will do? You will make the peoples to do so at any cost. And then there will be anarchy in the country, anarchy in the world, because there will be no evaluation. If there is no evaluation in this world, definitely people are thinking that there is no evaluation after death also. And then there will be lawlessness in the world, anarchy, disturbance, disruption, chaos everywhere, everywhere. So what religion gives? Religion does not only give you the fear of the death, but it also gives you and keeps your eyes opened that after this death there will be there will be another life, and there will also be a reckoning before that life. And what is that reckoning? That you will be evaluated on your right doings and wrong doings. As there is very beautiful quotation by uh, I forgot about the name. Okay, I remember the quotation. So you can tell me if that is a common name and most important name in it belongs to Turkey. He says that the right out beyond. He talks about the situation of life and death in a matter that you will really enjoy that. Yeah, Maulana Rumi. How can I forget that? Such a great. Maulana Rumi talks about the same thing, like about the death situation and the life situation. You already know about the line because I felt so that he must be quoted here. He says that the out beyond the idea of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a place, and I will meet you there. Out beyond the idea of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a place I will meet you there. So it means that there will be after this life, there will be life. There will be no wrongdoing, not any right doing, and not wrongdoing, because people will be evaluated only in this life, and after that there is reckoning at the start that who has done good things, who has done bad things, and according to that there will be two rewards. Not one is reward, the other is punishment. Then it means that we must have, if being a religious person, we must have a strong belief on the death and the life also. But we cannot actually spoil our life by thinking that there will be no life after this life. If we think so, what will happen? Definitely, as I've already told, there will be lawlessness, disturbance and destruction in the whole country, in the whole world. And this is what religion gives. Religion hampers, works like a hamper. It works like not an obstacle, but it gives you limited and controlled speed. And you may not like with
Mister,
you may not need with
so your
an
voice is not
accident.
clear.
You're not audible.
So what religion gives?
Yes, our voice is not clear. It's continuously
Religion gives
distortion.
you a strong control speed. And what is that hamper?
Sir, we are not hearing you properly.
They are hampers you
So we are not able to hear
keep
you.
you illegal, you can say, speed break. That's the reason religion gives you message. How the concept of death, that is most taken by the religious people because they are giving the people horrible concept they can do whatever they want. But this is not possible. Also have some knowledge about it. Yeah, okay. So is it fine now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sorry for yes, actually I've told that already told you that I just shifted from Lahore to my village and network problem is persistent. So for that my apologies. So I was talking about okay now we can discuss because I was just talking about that how the concept of religion is taken by the religion and how it is actually provided to the people because the whatever they have provided about the concept of death, it is horrible. But on the other side, people think that the concept of death is not as same that as it is told by the people, the religious people. One thing that I feel so that what is the reason behind that why the religious people always stress on the concept of death so hard. Actually, the thing is that so the people can abide the religion, so people can worship the gods in more stronger ways. So that is the reason that they just focus and stress on the concept of death, and they present it as the most horrible thing that the people can imagine. Okay, so that is the reason I think that religious people they actually kept on stressing and focusing on the concept of death more than the other things, so that the people can oblige the religious people, so the people can oblige the religious beliefs, and there are you can so many other things related to this. Okay, so now let me share my screen with you people so we can start. But if there is someone else who also wants and needs to add something into it, then that person is free to do.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, is death necessary for us in our life to have a title of a hero? Like in the past, what happened with Ali Sadbara was in our life he was a simple man, and when he died, we gave him the title of a hero. So, sir, death is necessary for a man to get the title of a hero.
Depends depends on what action you do for your people and for the other people around. Sometimes if you do a little part at your own side, and then if you do that in a good way, it means that people will remember you because you have, even though he hasn't done something for the people, but that I would say that he has done it for himself only. But that he has actually, I would say, as an offer, as an honor, it inspired the many people around the world. So that was actually an honor death, not only for the people actually, for himself only. And on the other side, we can say that Hitler also committed suicide, but he is not remembered. He is not as remembered as the other people who actually committed suicide. Even though there is an event of suicide that you will be studying in this essay also. I just forgot the name of that Roman emperor. So that Roman emperor actually committed suicide knowingly so that the country may not get into war. I would say that suicide is also then on the other side is also good thing. But as you are talking about that, is it necessary? It is not necessary actually to do so. But sometimes the situation is like that that you have no other way. Satpara, he did not actually want him dead. He wanted to do something so that he may be maybe an icon for the people. He may be an inspiration for the people. But if he actually, I would say that he uh, gave his life in that process. So that process was a cause for him. The people they got inspired by this action that he has, even though done something for him for his own self, but it became an honor for the other people and inspiration for the other people. So it is not necessary. You can also do something when you are, I would say, alive. If you have the life with you, you can do many more things. Because if, let's suppose, like if someone does something bad, and after that he does something good, and after that he dies. If that person dies, what will happen? That people will remember a little portion of goodness of him, and they will forget the bad part. On the other side, you have only, I would say, very less time to entertain the people, to facilitate the people. But if you have a long life of 60 and 70 years, you can, I would say, benefit many people around you. But if you have less time, you can facilitate, I would say, a little people. So that is the reason. Like if it is not necessary that you must sacrifice yourself for any cause, and then you will be remembered. It means that by doing this, you have facilitated only one portion of the society, one section of the society. But if you may live long, and if you can benefit the society, the more societies, the more people, I think that that life is more better than the death. So in that case, the case is totally different from that. So that is not necessary. Okay. And do tell me if my voice disturbs you again and if there is a distortion. So do tell me in the message. Okay. Any other thing? Any other question? Any other uh, thing that you want to add, or should we start? You know that actually, when we talk about Francis Bacon's concept of essay of death, why I all the time ask you people to add something there, because you know that that is only a perception of one person. But if there are 50% or 40% in front of me, because he has also talked about and taken some knowledge from the perception of the people, that what they have think, what they have thought about death at that time. And now what we think about death now, we can also add something to it. So it is all about the perceptions actually. And if this is his opinion, then we can also add ours into it. So that is the reason that I'll not all the time ask you people to follow the writer, to follow the writer in everything. You have to do that, but you can also add something of yours instead of following in the same way in one direction the writer and all of the things related. Okay, then we can start that which part is the remaining part. Does it make us more, I would say, convenient about the other things about his perceptions, especially of death or not? Just tell me when the screen is visible. Okay. Do we have to start this or have we studied something?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes seems to be neutral. Do we have to start from the beginning, or did we have covered some?
No, sir.
Hmm?
We studied some. Sir, we have to start from the second page, from the pity provoked many to die. Grief leads to it. यहाँ तक पढ़ा था.
Okay, got it. So we were talking about that revenge triumphs over death. Revenge. Sometimes you have to take revenge on somebody. Smooth to make something plain, because you know that in love or in emotions or sentiments of love, we don't care about that. Even though about suicide, we do not care about it. So love spites it. Honor aspire to it. So it is the honor that we most of the time want. You know that in different areas, in different sections of societies, in different ages, the concept of honor was different. Like one of uh, in the America still, when it was the years of 18th and 19th century and before that, people were feeling that a person must not be killed from back. Like if someone is shooting you, if someone is stabbing you, because this was found one of the most of covert action or covert act that one can do. They were feeling that the person, if someone has to kill, so that person has to be face to face with that, and then that can kill. Otherwise, it was considered dishonor and disrespect for the death, and people were feeling pity for that person, that why he has killed that person from the back. Okay. On the other side, you also see that in England, uh, you might have seen some of the seasons and some of the movies and some of the other documentaries in which they have to offer their life, like they wanted a place, they wanted a good reason to be murdered and to be killed. Like they have to kill any person with honor. Like you have to place or keep the sword, the blade of the sword, right between the shoulder and the neck or the head, and then you can kill that person. That was the honor, the death. I would say honor death. And on the other side, if you are actually beheading someone, if you are cutting the hands and mutilating the person, that was a dishonor death. It means that they have different aspects to do so. So honor aspire to it means that what is the best way to achieve that dignity. So honor is actually the best way to achieve or to overwhelm the death. because as Bilal was talking about Sitpara, so you see that how the honor actually comes to that person, because people see that he he fights or he fought with the death. Till the end, he fought with the death because he wanted to achieve something. He wanted to aspire something that all the other people only think, and he knowingly does so that he wanted to achieve that summit. He wanted to go to the highest place, and then he did so. It means that there was an honor in, according to him, there was some honor into that. He wanted to achieve that honor. He wanted to achieve that dignity. So honor aspires to it. Then grief fleeth to it. So what is grief? It means that grief, they fly with it. Sometimes people are very depressed, some people are very sad and gloomy. They feel so that if we commit suicide, then we will be totally, we will get rid of this life, and we will not get rid of this life. We will get rid of the tensions, the problems, the worries, and the atrocities of the life as well. You know that in America, the suicide attempts ratio, and over there on there, suicide ratio is very high. It is very high. Like people, they are. There are many reasons. I would say there are certain reasons. So one of the reasons is that the belief of the peoples, they are not on the religion. Most of the people are, they are atheist in that. And if there is no central power in the country, if the people are not abiding any power, any authority, or any belief in real sense, then what will happen that you will definitely will think that okay, I am religion is not supporting me because you are not accepting religion, and then you feel that religion is not satisfying you in other sense. You feel that okay, there is no place in my home also, like my family does not support me to do this thing and to do that thing. The second, then the society comes. You feel that if I'll be doing something, I'll be doing with that thing independently. And if society says that you cannot fulfill your desire, definitely you can't do that. Like you cannot fulfill all your right and wrong desires by hurting many people. That is wrong. So society will not allow that. But we, yes, is the problem again. Is my voice clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. So it means that there is uh, the, what we were talking about. Yeah. So people will think so. People will think so that you cannot do that because we know that if we are going to fulfill our desire, so that desire is, please mute your mic. Okay, so it means that we cannot do this that thing of our own, even though if the society does not agree on this. So independently, what we do not have any other way to do so. We actually commit suicide. So I would say that there are many cases. People, the grief flies to it. Grief fly to it. Because we think that in that emotions and sentiments, we certainly do that most of the time. We feel that we must commit suicide, and then we will get rid of these worries and tensions. Then fear preoccupies it, and it is the fear that preoccupies. If you know that we are not told by the people that what death looks like, what death feels like, I think we may not feel fear from the death, even though the word death terrifies us. But people all the time just keep on telling us that well, death gives you this one, this blow, death gives you, will crumble you like this. So this concept actually makes you more frightened about it. talking about you, you know that sometimes there are different deaths in which you feel some sort of pain, like it's your hand. Definitely, you will feel some pain of 25 seconds to 30 seconds. On the other side, if you are burned alive, then you will feel the pain for most 4 to 5 minutes. If you are nailed on a cross, then you will feel the pain for almost 4 to 5 days, the pain of death, 4 to 5 days. And if your head is actually blown off, if you are beheaded, then you will feel the pain of 1 second to 2 seconds. But इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं. And after that, if you are actually remain in a prison house, and after that you are not given anything to eat and to drink, especially that happens that Hitler did so within the Nazi camp, where the hundreds and hundreds Jews were kept without any food and without any water. And what happened that after 2 or 3 months, they all were without any food. They all were dead, and there was no one. I think scarcely there were a few people who lived, but they were only the skeletons. They were only the skeletons. They were only the structures, nothing else. So that is again most more painful. So we can see that fear preoccupies it. I know that this matters a lot, but on the other side there are many different shapes of deaths. And if you are preoccupied with this concept of death, then what will happen? That it will give you more pain. And if you don't, then it will be as casual as someone is dying without any pain. So nay we read after Otho, the emperor had slain himself. So in other case, he is now giving the example of Otho. He was a Roman emperor, and he said that the Otho emperor had slain himself. Pity, which is the tenderest of affections, provoked many to die out of mere compassion to their sovereign and as the truest sort of followers. Yes. So now this is, I think that again, as we've been talking about, that death is not only that okay if you commit suicide, so that will be considered wrong, but we know that the purpose behind that death is that death justifies you or dignifies you. Like if you are going somewhere and if you commit suicide, I won't say that is for any good cause. So that will not be considered as a good cause, although, because you die and people will remember you that you were the worst person. Just take an example of Hitler's suicide. Hitler's suicide. So now you know that Hitler's suicide will not be remembered as a good example as any other suicide that does something for the benefit of the people. So he talks about Otho, who was a Roman emperor. He says that he slain himself. He committed suicide. He has killed himself. So, but there was something in his suicide or something in his death. And what was that? That when he was the emperor, actually, so at that time there was a war. The people were actually thinking to have a war against the Romans, and they have recently defeated a war. And after that war, this was might be, you can say, because of some traitors and because of some poor policies. So Rome at that time, it was defeated in a battle. It was not I would say, a big battle. And at that time, Otho, he knew that if I don't do something, what will happen? The country will be in civil war. All the countrymen, they will fight with each other, and there will be a civil war, as civil war happened in America in 1865 roundabout. So what happened, that the people will be fighting with one another, as you can see in Iran. like the Shia sect, and on the other side, the Sunni, they are fighting with each other. They are killing each other, and there are many countries in which the sectarian fights, they are killing their own people, their own countrymen. So what author has actually done, he has committed suicide so that the country may not into civil war. And this suicide has been taken as one of the most honorary act by the author emperor. And the honor was not this that he committed suicide just to avoid from the civil war. It gives it gives the value and more worth when there was not only one death but many. And how it was that when there were, that there are many fans and followers of the kings and the emperors, when they see that our emperor is dead, only because of that he did not want any disruption in the country, so many followers, they also gave their life. They also gave their life. They also committed suicide. They killed themselves just because of this, that their unwary emperor has committed suicide for this cause. For that cause, it means that they have also offered their lives. So you can say that this is the most honorary thing when the followers did the same. So he thinks that suicide, for, we can say, like, this is sin. We all like already knew that. But on the other side, when we talk about the suicide like Otho, so that is when he will be remembered forever and ever. That is the reason that after 1,000 years, his reference has been quoted by Francis Bacon in his essays. That is the reason that he is remembered. So it means, he says that although the emperor had slain himself, pity, which is the tenderest of affections, provoked many to die out of mere compassion to their sovereign, and as the truest sort of followers. There was not only one death, one suicide, but many. Nay, Seneca adds niceness and style. So Seneca, he was again another philosopher, and Seneca, he's mostly famous for his philosophies, his because you know that in the Greek times or in the older Roman times, people are not only playing one role, but they are many. They have multiple knowledge about the multiple subjects. So he was a philosopher, he was a scientist, and he was many. And what he says about it, Seneca, he says that a man would die. A man would die though he were neither valiant nor miserable. Only upon a willingness to do same thing so oft over and over. So a man would die, though he were neither valiant nor miserable. So a person has to die. Whether that person is miserable, whether that person is brave. Like everyone has to die. अगर आप brave नहीं भी हैं तो तब भी death है, और अगर आप बहुत brave हैं तो तब भी death है. If like this seems to be the same cause, this seems to be the same thing that Dr. Foster's has talked about. The wages of sin is death. But this thing by Seneca is totally different. Like a man would die though he were neither valiant nor miserable, if he is brave or if he is coward. Only upon a willingness to do the same thing so often over and over. So he will definitely do that whenever he is tensed with something, whenever he is worried about something. So then, because of that weariness or because of that thing, he will do this thing. And he wanted to do that again and again with him, because he feels so that he must die. And it is no. less worthy to observe. How little alteration in good spirits the approaches of death make, for they appear to be the same men till the last instant. But on the other side, he says that there are different and small changes and alterations in person's life that can make the difference. And what are they? They can be recognized even though at the final movement and the final instant before you die. Like they can be proven at any time. It is not mandatory that that thing will come only when you are born, when you are young. That can come at any time in your age. It can come at your young age. It can come at your, like you can talk about Muhammad bin Qasim. Muhammad bin Qasim, he was 18 when he actually took the control of Sindh. When he was the sovereign actually, 16 or 18. And after that, he died young. He died very young. He was murdered. He was people plotted against him, and he was murdered because he wanted to spread the Islam in all over the subcontinent, and he was murdered. So at very young age, but he earned his name. He received a status. He earned his name. So it means that he was very young when he, like a child, he was very young when he actually served his purpose. In very young, he served his purpose. On the other side, on the other side, you can take example of Socrates. Socrates was like he was in the last age, in the section of his last age, when he actually drank that poisonous hemlock. He was in his last time. But you see that even though he could have at that time uh, deviated from his statement that I am not doing anything wrong, I am just making the people and the youngs to stay on the track. But what will happen? That he said, no, I have spent more than 30 years to bring my people and the youngsters on the track or on the right path. And if I take back my statements right now, then it means my life's philosophy will be considered wrong. So I will not do that. And in that old age, Socrates, he drank that hemlock, that poison, and he was also murdered. It means that death does not come with honor only in this life at young age or at old age. It can comes at any time, and that is the reason that he says that a man would die. So person has to die, but if you, whether he is valiant, not miserable. But what makes him great? The little actions, or that little action can come at any time, at any moment in your life. If you are not prepared to serve yourself right now, might be after 5 years you will be able to do that. So it will come, the time will come when you can give your life with honor. So this is great Seneca. And then we see that for they appear to be the same man till the last instant. So till the last instant of their death, they all are the same. Like you can say Muhammad bin Qasim, then on the other side Socrates, then Hitler. They all are the same till their last moment. And that last moment can make them totally change. Totally change. That last moment really defines them, that what they really are. The last moment of Muhammad bin Qasim has decided that this man sacrificed himself for the honor, for the sovereignty of Islam. On the other side, the last moment, till the last moment, Socrates has sacrificed and served his purpose for almost rest of his life only for the youngsters and for their countrymen. And Hitler, as a negative example, he has done whatever he can do, all the atrocities and the catastrophes with the people, and he did so. And at that moment, he was not an honorable man. He was the worst man that ever went to remember. Means that till the last moment all are the same, but after that it decides that who is the respectful, who is the brave one, and who is the coward. Augustus Caesar. Now he is giving some of the examples of great men, of the great and great emperor who actually lived in the Roman times. Augustus Caesar died in a compliment. So he takes example of Augustus, and compliment means that even though he actually fought for his country, but there was some pinch of I would say some proud, some flattery, because if you don't do something, but if you are admired by your courtiers, by your ministers, by your people, that okay, you have done something great, my lord. So he didn't do anything. Actually, Augustus Caesar, he was, I think, a grandson of Julius Caesar. He, even though didn't do anything great, anything something that can make his country proud, but at the end he died in natural death. Even though that natural death has been considered as a compliment, it means that a warrior must not die natural death. A warrior must die in the battleground, or he must die with honor, or he must die but with a cause. But without cause, without an without a war, it means, because this is their opinion. There is that is not death. Even though that is death, but that does not come with honor. So if Augustus died in a compliment, he died in a natural death. He died with the flattery. He died with the praises. It means that he was admired and liked all the time by the people, that yes, you are doing great, and that person has to die in a battleground. So this is his opinion. And then, uh, okay, Tiberius in dissimulation. So Tiberius, because he talks about all the people who have been enthroned on the Rome at that time, and like Julius Caesar, and after that then Augustus Caesar, and after that Tiberius, and then there are many others. So Tiberius, he died in, I would say, in dissimulation. And what is dissimulation? Like there are many people, in the older times, as Julius Caesar was also a victim of this plotting, of this conspiration, that you are murdered, you are killed by on your people, with the deception actually. So he was also deceived with the by the hypocrisy of the people, because there are some elements in his rule that actually caused him killed, because of the deception, because of the hypocrisies, because of getting that status and getting that power. So he was a victim. He because Tiberius, he died in dissimulation, which means that he was murdered by the people in deception. He was bluffed. He was deceived by his own people or by the ministers around. So that was Tiberius' death. Then the Vespian. Vespian in a jest. It means that Vespian, he was a fun for the people. It is said that he was having a disease of the gout. Gout, that your joints, they get swell, and then there is unbearable pain. जिसे शायद मुझे I do not know what is the name of that disease in Urdu, but I think that is your joints, they swell. Most of the time they swell, and they give you an unbearable pain. And okay, so that he was Vespian in a jest and sitting upon the stool. It is said that even though he was unable to move, his joints of the body, they gave him severe and unbearable pain, and he could not move his body from one place to another. And even though, like, all of the things they have to do by sticking on one place, by sticking on one place. So he has to do all of the things over there. So that was people were thinking that a king or an emperor must not be like this, because if he cannot move, then how the country can move? So that is the reason that Vespian in a gesture, because he was considered as a fun for the people, as a joke for the people. So that he was diseased with you can say with gout. Okay, okay. Then we can say what is it then? Yeah. So with holding forth, yeah. What is it? Septimius Severus. Septimius Severus, another emperor, in dispatch. So, some what is his name? Yeah, Septimius Severus in dispatch, and he likes certainly the Stoics. So he also died. It means that all of these people, they died because of certain reasons. Some of them they died with honor. Some of them they died with natural deaths. Some of them they died with any disease. So it means that they all died with something. And then he talks about the certainly the Stoics bestowed too much cost upon death, and by their great preparations made it appear more fearful. Okay, the Stoics were the people, uh, like the group of the people. Their beliefs about the death were totally different. Like their beliefs were that there is not going to be an afterlife, and they all the time made their people frightened and fearful about the death, that what death can cost you. It gives you pain, it gives you unbearable experience, because they had their own beliefs and they had their own choices. And on the other side, they also feel something, I would say, they feel that all the things that a man can enjoy living and enjoying this life, that is all. Otherwise, they did not believe on the afterlife. The Stoics I'm talking about. And when they are enjoying everything, then they were actually in different wrongdoings. They were involved and indulged in different wrongdoings, especially in the negative things, in the sexual things. All of these Stoics, because they did not have anything to say something about this afterlife, because they wanted the people to believe that we have only one life and you must enjoy it at fullest. And then people, they have done the same. They did not care about anything else. They did not care about that there will be another life, and that enjoyed it. It seems to be, rather it seems to be, because the Epicureans, they were different, and the Stoics were different, belonging to the same age, but there is some difference between. The Epicurean, you know that the Epicurus, that was another philosopher. So he has also given a philosophy as of the Stoics. That philosophy was that is called as Epicurean philosophy, that eat, drink, and be merry. Merry, not M-A-R-R-Y. It is M-E-R-R-Y. Be happy. So eat, drink, and be merry. Which means that is the village. That is their philosophy. That is called Epicurean philosophy. It means that you have to eat, drink, and be merry. There is no need to worry about. So Stoics, they seem to me the same Epicurean, because they also feel so that you have to enjoy everything. Do not talk about the afterlife, after life or after death. Do not think about that. So it means that their uh, point of view about the death was totally different. And then, better saith he, it is as natural to die as to be born, and to a little infant, perhaps, the one is as painful as the other. So he that dies in an earnest pursuit is like one that is wounded in hot blood. So, as we have already talked about this experience, that it is as natural to die as to be born. It is as natural to die. So there is no fixed time. takes time. Okay, and on the other side, he that dies in an earnest pursuit. You know that people are full of desires. Full, they are full of the things incomplete desires most of the time. Like if you have some good intentions, so you have to do that at the same time, at the same moment. And if you are waiting any miracle to happen or anything, any platform to happen, then I think that that will do nothing with you. Let me uh, explain this reality with the thing that I have been observing on a TV show. You might have seen all of you, uh, Bear Grylls. What was that? Wild versus Man. You might have seen that one. Like the person who is actually eating all the things that are not even the seeable, but they are. He is actually eating all of those things as well. But there is one lesson that that he gives to everyone. He gives you a lesson that okay, if you are going through a situation like this in a jungle, in a desert, and if you feel so that okay, if you find two or three drops of water on a leaf, so you can take it. You can take it. If you find any bugs or insects in your way, you can take it. If you find, even though if you do not want to eat those things, if you are vegetarian, so you can have some leaves, leaves, and you can also have some berries. Rather, they are very small and tiny in size, but you must take it without thinking. You must take it, and you must eat it as well. And this thing will give you a more purpose to your living, instead of if you are thinking that okay, I will go to a place after this problem, these hurdles, I will go to a place where there will be some dishes prepared for me, and there will be a tank of water that will be awaiting for me, then you will die in the way if you are thinking so, because there is not anything going to happen. And if you are thinking so that after some time I will be rescued, then you will also die. So you have to eat and take something with you so that this thing will make you alive all the time. And if you are waiting, no, that I will not eat this thing and that thing, this is dirty and this is muddy, no, I will not eat that thing, and I will go for a feast and I will go for a good meal full of all the dishes, and then you will certainly die. Because might be there is the people, the team can come after 5 days, after 10 days, and you know the stories of the people. There are some people who actually lived on the islands for more than 1 year, for more than even though 2 or 3 years. And if you really want to experience the real life story of a man, then you can go and watch the movie The Castaway. The Castaway. Like he was forced to live on an island for more than years if you really want to experience this thing. So we were talking about that we must learn something, and we must, I would say that give our best in that short time of period. And he does the same, that he that dies in an earnest pursuit is like one that is wounded in hot blood. So it means that you had something to do, you had something to accomplish, you had an aspire to achieve something, but you didn't. It means that you died in a hot blood. You died in an inquisitiveness. You died in a curiosity to do something, but you didn't. And you will die in a hot blood. So if you have something in your mind, then you have to do it. Do not wait for the right time. The right time will come, and then you can serve more people than your expectation. But if you have less time and less resources, you can benefit small portion of the things if you really want to do something. But if you want to wait, if you are waiting for any miracle to happen, that you will do this. Like there, one student came into my office, and she asked me, said, I want to do something for the people, for the humanity. And for that purpose, I just need to do CSS. And then I will be benefiting the students. sorry, the other people, all of the people around me, even though the poor people, and I said that, what happens if you cannot do your CSS? And she was thinking. I said, will you then stop benefiting the people? What will happen then if you cannot make that? So do not wait that okay, after CSS you will be benefiting the people around you. You can also do that right now at this moment. You can also serve your humanity and your generosity to the people. Do not wait for that platform. That platform, wherever it will come, you can do that. There is no second thought that you want. You can do that. But if you have less time, less resources, you can start with that without any second thought. You can do that as well. So do not wait that okay, you will be given the position, then you will be. And what if in that process, like if you are actually, you will be benefiting the poor people after 5 years. So what in that process if there are 500 poor people die because of the hunger, because of the starvation? Are you responsible for those people in that time? It means that humanity does not require any fixed time. It can be done at any time with the people. It can be done anytime. So that is actually the real thing that you must remember. So same is the case that if you have something to do, if you have something to achieve, you can do that right that time. And if you're waiting some miracle to happen, some good time for yourself and for the people to happen, then it will not. Some people are thinking that okay, we cannot study in this COVID because of this pandemic or because of this disease. Otherwise, we would have been scholarly things done. It means that you have been given a, I would say, an orthodox chance to change and transform your personality. Not the same one, but an orthodox way to look at the things. Like we still, even though we are, I think, in this process for more than 1 year, and we are still not satisfied. We are still waiting for the online, for the physical classes. That no, whenever the physical classes will be, then I will be studying. I will be studying. I am not satisfied with the online class. I don't like these online classes. Otherwise, you feel everything good. Like to remain 24 online or WhatsApp on the other, that you feel good in that sense. But you do not feel online classes in goodness in online classes. So like we must change ourselves. If you really want to be an inspiration for the people, then you must change yourself. Remember the words of Rumi, what he said about this such situation. Yesterday I was clever and I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise and I'm changing myself. So you need to change yourself. The world will automatically be changed. And if you're thinking that no, I will change the world, I will change the world, you can't make that. So you have to do something. If you have something in you, you have to do that. So he that dies in an earnest pursuit is like one that is wounded or who for the time scars feels the hurt, and therefore a mind fixed and bent upon someone that is good doth avert the dolorous of death. So this is, you can say that you can avert, you can skip the dolorous, the extremity of the death in that sense, because the extremity of death will come and take you if you are incomplete. But if you have served your part, if you have done your part, the extremity, the dolorous and the extremity of the death will not, I would say, will hunt you in the same way, will not make you victim in the same way. But above all, believe it, the sweetest canticle is, so like a canticle can be a beautiful song, because you know that sometimes people are singing for a good purpose in the churches, and sometimes that can be a praise, another way to praise the Lord or praise someone. So that, I would say that canticle is actually the goodness in other sense, or the charm actually. So what is the canticle of this? But above all, believe it, the sweetest canticle is when a man hath obtained worthy ends and expectations. So When you do not know what will happen with you, what you are going to do, when you do not have any defined objections, objectives in your life, any defined objectives in your life, then definitely you are marauding and staggering from one place to another. You are totally staggering. कभी इधर घूम रहे हैं, कभी उधर घूम रहे हैं, because you do not have any defined goals, any defined objectives in your life. Then what will happen? And we will say that everything is will be worthless. But if you really want to enjoy the canticle, the sweetest canticle of your life, then you must obtain the worthy and expectations, the valuable ends and expectations, the objectives of your life. If you have some objectives, you have to work on them. Do not keep those objectives in your heart. You have to work on them. If you really want to do something, want to make something and make out of those objectives, then you have to work on that right now. And if you are waiting that, okay, one piece of degree or can make a difference in your life, and if you do not have along with the any practical knowledge and that, then that will not. That will not. And you know that the people, they have more degrees than you. It means that if you have to define your objective first, and then you have to work on it as well. So that is actually the objective of the life that you can do in the shortest time period. Death hath this also. Hath means has or have, as this also. That it open the gate to good fame and extinguish envy. So death has this type of thing in it. Death has this also. That it opens the gate to the good fame, it opens the gate to the good fame and extinguish and shuts up the envy. So what he's trying to say, actually, he's trying to say that the man like who is dead, will be loved who is envied and suffers in life, or you can say, and may become a hero after death also. Can become a hero after death. Isn't it? Means that you can see that how this essay ends. That you have to define your objective of life. You have to define, and then you have to work on it. Because the dead man, will be loved by the people and whoever around that person is, and uh, because that person is actually felt something in his life, that person is actually faced something worst in his life, and after that, when he will be achieving that objective, when he will be fulfilling those objectives, then that man, even though that common man, will be called a hero after death. So this is what he is actually trying to uh, inculcate the minds of the people, that do not feel fear of the death. Death will come more in a more horrific way, in a more fearful way, if you feel fear from it. If you are actually feeling that, okay, death is only a way to move on or to transfer your life into another world, then you have to take it casual, without any fear, without any frighten. But if you think so that no, that will come and our life will be exhumed, our life will be ended, and then we cannot live more, we cannot enjoy more, then what will happen? That there will be only that death will not be an honorable death. That because you have to die. Seneca says you have to die, whether you die brave or coward. But if you really want to die something, so must have a defined objective in your life. And if you do so, if you face the challenges of your life, and if you face all these atrocities and problems of your life, then you will be called a hero. Might be this signals and gives a hint towards the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ just gave his life for the people, for the humanity around him. You know that he sheds his blood for the people because he wanted that the people may live much longer and the sins will be washed. So he has actually redempted the people just to shed his blood. That is the reason that we can say that he himself faced many problems and atrocities, many, uh, even though there were what I would call it, he was tortured by the people, by the Jews at that time. But what happens after that? That he became the son of the God for the Christians. But he is a prophet definitely for us. But he became the God, the son of the God for the Christian, because he endured some of the unbearable things in his life. And those unbearable things, those atrocities, those issues, those problems, and those wounds, the strikes of the swords and the daggers on his body. There were, I would say, that thousand and thousand strikes according to there on the body of Jesus Christ. And ultimately, he became the hero. Because the more pain you face for a real cause, for a good cause, that will make you hero. And this is what this essay is all about. So, if you need to ask any question, you can ask right now. So, we are done with our second essay that was of death. Yes, anyone. If you want to ask something, if you want to add something, so you are free to do so. No questions at all. It's good, and if I think that you are clear, then yeah. So I think that we must end this class right now. So if you have any questions about the previous and or this essay, so we can also discuss in the next class. And again, you must all have to present, so you prepare the same contents, the same essays as we have talked about. So you can add as many examples as you can. So take care of yourself and your family in this pandemic. Thank you so much. Take care. Allah Hafiz.